Hey everyone, Conky Reviews back again for my next review of Kingdom. Today we got chapter 4, and we're in for a really good, another great chapter, I would say. It is pretty great. So we open up with this nice little, like chapter title cover art. We see our little hero Shin, clad in some big old armor that it's too big for him. He's not fitting into it yet, but it still looks good on him because we love Shin. And he's holding Hyo's sword and dragging a big old shield behind him. Just a preview to the legendary future that Shin will be growing into eventually. So we start off the action with the conclusion of Shin's devastating slash against that Shukyo assassin, who now has been turned into a sniveling shell of the menacing beast that he was in the previous chapter. We see Shin say, "Do you feel it, you stupid bastard?" I love that line, by the way. I think the bastard might be the most used insult by Shin throughout the entire manga. I would love to see if there's like a count of how many times he says it. Maybe I should start a count, honestly. That would probably be a good idea, honestly. I might actually do that now that I think about it. So, okay, but anyways, as we see Shin, he starts to raise his sword, and the Shukyo starts pleading for his life. Something that we don't expect out of a deadly assassin who's supposed to be this menacing beast. That's strange. And saying that he has children who will be orphaned if he's killed. And that, of course, makes Shin falter. His resolve is gone because he doesn't want to orphan kids. He was an orphan. He would never want to do that to somebody else, you know? So then Shin lowers his sword, not saying anything, and the man begins to thank him profusely, and he starts getting up. But before what happens next, we actually see the Shukyo laugh. I actually missed this on my I don't think I missed it on my first read, but on this reread I missed it, and then I read it again and I saw it. But pretty interesting. It's not really like focused upon, especially afterwards. Even the king doesn't really realize what happened, but he laughs. I mean, it's pretty obvious that either he was gonna immediately attack Shin and them after getting up, or he was probably gonna regroup with some of the soldiers that were obviously coming after them later on in this chapter. But yeah, so anyways, after he starts getting up, we see the king, say, he ain't having it. He slices this dude's head clean off of his shoulders. His head goes flying. And I mean, it's just amazing. I really loved whenever I was first reading this scene. This is like when I first started to really like the character of Sei. He seeing that, as we'll see later on, he's super good at fighting, which it seems kind of strange because it's like he's a king. Like, I mean, as far as we know, like a king isn't gonna be like just like martially amazing, you know. I mean, obviously it's different for every region, but still, like, he's a 13-year-old kid who just sliced a freaking assassin's head off. Pretty awesome. Sei then asks Shin if he will still kill him, and if he says yes, that he ain't gonna let that happen easily, and that he has had many people die for him, and Hyo was one of them, which is pretty interesting that he's using that as like reason to not kill him, because it's like, just because Shin and Hyo were like close, he's using that as like yours is just like one of many. Honestly, Sei is pretty menacing in this scene, just because he's completely aware of the fact that a lot of people have died for him, and seemingly it doesn't affect him. Seemingly, obviously. We don't actually know if he's just putting on a facade or he's just trying to intimidate Shin, you know. But it really makes him seem like a full-on like psychopath, honestly. So after this, it cuts to Kanyo, the royal capital of Chen. We see a man walking into what is seemingly the royal palace, where he meets with Seikyo, who is Sei's brother. The one who rebelled against him, obviously. I don't think there's any other members of that family, but yeah. So he seems extremely eager to kill Sei, and is very intent that the man needs to produce Sei's head very soon. He needs his head on a silver platter, basically. And he also has this humongous dude. I mean, this guy is gargantuan. He's like hunched over, but he still towers over everybody in the room. And he's massively built, like muscular as hell. I mean, the dude is humongous, dude. And if you look in the panel where that guy grabs the messenger dude's head, like his hand fits around his head like a freaking apple, dude. It's legitimately ridiculous. But we see that Seikyo is questioning this messenger. Like, you know, just trying to figure out if he's killed Sei or not. And he's getting kind of frustrated, obviously. And then a big old dude appears behind Seikyo and starts calming him, saying that the military, or that they have someone better than the assassins to find Sei. And then it cuts back to Sei and Shin, and we see that Shin is thinking about how angry he is with Sei right now. But Hyo did make his last request to basically protect this dude, so he's kind of in a bind right now, where he really wants to kill Sei, but Hyo won't let him kill Sei. And then we see Sei kneel down and put his palm on the ground, like he's about to be casting a jutsu or something, and then says, "This is bad." And then it flashes to an army. And I really liked that panel. It was pretty badass. I would really like to know who that, like, I don't think he's a general, but who that, like, commander looking dude is. I don't know if it ever actually says it. It might later on when they go into the capital, but I can't remember if it does or not. It's seemingly that guy is the head of military affairs, but I don't ever remember him being named, so I'm not sure. But yeah, so, I mean, then we just get some flashes of these soldiers just killing unarmed civilians and informing the other soldiers to kill everyone that they see, no matter what. Sei and Shin, they noticed this huge army of people just slowly surrounding them. They don't notice them yet, but they're closing in on their position slowly. And their Sei is just realizing how deep this betrayal and rebellion was, and how fucked Sei was when the rebellion began, because his brother had the head of military affairs on his side already, which is not, like, that's a huge deal for a rebellion in the capital. Like, Sei would have been doomed if he wouldn't have ran. And so Shin makes up his mind that he's gonna have to fight through all of these soldiers, and I mean, that's just ridiculous, honestly, but the king is in complete disbelief and realizes that Shin was technically including him in the plans. And Shin says that he'll decide what to do with Sei after they make it out. And so they both decide, yeah, I guess we gotta start blasting through these soldiers somehow. So they pull out their swords, take off running. Which, dude, I don't think there is a single way that they would have been able to take out fully trained the soldiers from the capital, which, as we find out later on in the story, soldiers who are stationed at the capitals of countries or states of in China are usually the most highly trained ones. Like, and these people have like full blown armor sets. Like, there's no way that, like, Shin might have been able to kill a few of them, but they would have swarmed them and killed them. So they were extremely lucky that eventually, when they're about to take off, Ten just appears out of nowhere, and she reveals that she knows of a secret passage that they can use. And Shin recognizes Ten as a part of that bandit village that he was running through earlier, and immediately just doesn't trust Ten. And although Sei does seem to be willing to at least hear Ten out, kind of ignores Shin, which is funny. I feel like a lot of people just tend to ignore Shin, honestly. Especially when he's getting mad, people just kind of ignore him and keep talking around him. So Ten explains that there are many escape routes in that village because, I mean, they're a bandit village, and if they're ever raided, they need like ways to get out and escape. And I'm assuming they probably need places to hide shit too. So yeah, then Ten also states that they heard that Sei might be the king, which means that Ten could be generously rewarded for their help on rescuing the king. And so Shin is immediately like, are you kidding me? Like, that makes me not trust you even more, dude. Like, that's a horrible reasoning for wanting to help. And then Sei is like, no, I actually kind of respect that, honestly. I respect the paper chasing of this dude, honestly. And Shin's still complaining and freaking out, and then like he's like, I don't even know your name, dude. And so then Ten reveals that their name is Kario Ten and takes off their helmet to reveal a little kid, little pudgy kid. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where this chapter ends. So I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really liked this chapter. Hopefully you guys did too. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys. If you don't want to listen to these spoilers or potential spoilers coming up next, I hope that you dip out of here and tune into the next one, guys. So please exit and have a great day, y'all. Alright, so chapter 4. I think this. So whenever Shin hesitates to finish off that Shukyo, dude, I think that is the very first. Well, obviously it's the first, but I think that might even be the last time that Shin ever actually hesitates to kill an enemy that was planning on killing him and his friends, or threatened to kill him or his friends. I really can't remember any other time where Shin hesitated to kill somebody, unless it was like somebody who like eventually would become like a teammate or something, you know, like Kyokai later on, you know. And yeah, whenever the king slices that dude's head off and finishes him for Shin, it's such a hype moment. It's just amazing to see the king do any kind of fighting in this series. Like, other than this first arc, where he actually does quite a bit of fighting. I think he does more fighting in this arc than the entire series. until the Sai final stand arc, where he might. No, he definitely doesn't fight that much. I think he only fights like right at the very end of that. But yeah, so he like fights a metric shit ton compared to the rest of the series in this arc. It's just really good to see it, because even like right now in the manga, during this first arc, we're still at a level of like power scaling where like the king is still like kind of relative to Shen. Even if Shen does have this like ridiculous strength, the king is like seemingly on par with him, if not even a little bit better, as we'll see later on. But yeah, I love to see it. Love to see Sei fighting. Love to see it. We also we see that big dude the Seikyo keeps as a pet. Pretty sad to see, honestly. That dude is fucked. I don't even think he speaks any type of language, other than like groans and like noises. It's really cool seeing him later on, and funnily enough, I feel like every time I'm doing these spoiler discussions, I'm talking about the Psy arc, the Psy Final Stand arc. But we see him in that arc killing, or like when he comes back with the mountain bandits. But like seeing him as this like slave, it's so fucked up. I don't know. It's super weird. But also like we see this dude and it's like there's only a very few, like there's probably less than 5 times where the manga is just super fantastical or mystical, magical almost, or fantasy-ish, where things happen in the manga where it's just like, what the hell is going on? Like, how is this dude existing in the manga? Obviously it's just a manga, obviously it's fictional, but they kind of, there's like a principle with the rest of the series that it's not too like fantastical or mystical, but there are a very few set of times where like shit does get like magical or fantastical, like this dude being like 12 feet tall and he has like insane, like I feel like this dude's strength is like on par with Mobo later on. But yeah, like, and then like there's other times where like Kyokai revives Shen. Like, I don't know, sometimes it's just kind of ridiculous, but oh well, it is just a manga. But so the last thing I have on my mind is we are introduced to Ten in this chapter, and as we all know, that is a woman. She is not a boy. She ain't a little boy. And it's funny seeing her like chase the bag and be all about money. I completely forgot that she was all about the money in the beginning. She was so intent about getting the money too. I'm pretty sure she keeps bringing it up later on. It's amazing. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for tonight, guys, or today, whatever it is for you guys. Appreciate it if you guys like, comment, subscribe, and tune into the next video, guys. Thanks.